after midnight, and I'm just heading back down to the Midlands where I'm based. I've been tied up in court today, and then this evening I have been with clients, just trying to progress some matters and try and give some reassurance in some cases, etc. Doing the things that you do, doing the things that you do. And I've become aware on social media that obviously there are an increasing number of legal representatives of varying forms who are on there making their feelings known, making their comments known, and sharing advice. And that's great, because the more advice that's available out there, the better, particularly in terms of the family law courts, because they are essentially a confidential, and for confidential reads secret. They are essentially a confidential secret venue, and so it's quite difficult if you're on the outside trying to get in and trying to understand what is going to unfold in your case. And so if there are legal representatives, be they solicitors or barristers or McKenzie Friends or whatever they may be, who are making comments on social media and providing advice, then that can only be a good thing. That can only be a good thing. But recently I've become aware of some fairly disingenuous comments, because in the years that I've worked in this sector, and I chose to work in this sector. It wasn't I didn't come here because I had no choice. I didn't come here because I had trained and ticked boxes and gone through exams and all that sort of thing, because this is where I was destined to be, and consequently my skill set will only fit here. That isn't why I'm here. I actually came, and it had nothing to do with the whatever qualification I may hold, of which they are considerable. I came here because I felt that I wanted to help people. And that was the first order of business for me, is to help people in terms of their journey through this quite difficult landscape. And the skill set that I needed, the experience that I needed, the understanding that I needed of procedure and protocol and how the family court functions came later. So I think it's quite disingenuous of some legal professionals who dismiss McKenzie Friends, because, and it's always the same adage, it's always I'm a solicitor, I'm legally qualified, and McKenzie Friend is not, and consequently their advice is in some way flawed. I'm sorry, but the logic of that does not follow. If you are legally qualified, that means you have completed a number of exams and you have secured a practice license, and well done you for doing so. I have every respect for that. However, the knowledge that you have, the awareness that you have of the family court and of procedures and protocols within the family court is actually widely available to everybody to know and to learn without taking the exam or picking up the practice license. And unfortunately the family court does accept, whether we like it or not, the family court does accept that the McKenzie Friend instrument is a valid instrument. I'm talking from my own regard and from my own point of view. My understanding of the family court is as comprehensive as a sizable amount of the solicitors in particular that I've encountered over the years. And because my understanding of the family court is not only based on a grasp of the procedures and the protocols and examples of case law and examples of legal precedent, but more importantly, in my view, it is based on the fact that I come here because I care. I come here because my role, as I see it, is to safeguard somebody who otherwise may be vulnerable and who otherwise may be unprotected in that environment because they cannot afford, potentially, to engage a solicitor. And so it's wrong, it's unnecessary to dismiss the role of the McKenzie Friend and make this sweeping assumption that as a solicitor I'm qualified, as a McKenzie Friend you are unqualified, consequently you have no place in this courtroom. I will argue that point until the day I die, because it is inaccurate, because it is disingenuous, and because what it actually does is it's water off a duck's back to the McKenzie Friend. But what it does is it insults the client who took the decision for whatever reason, be it financial constraint or preference, who took the decision to engage with a McKenzie Friend rather than a solicitor. And now we're getting to the nub of this issue, to the bottom of this issue, is that this is a commercial environment. The family court is a commercial setting, and I have said many, many times that what happens in there is tainted, is shaped, is coloured by the fact it is a commercial setting. The reason that when you sit with a solicitor, they talk about retainers and lodging a sum of money with them invariably at the start of your process is because it's a commercial process, because they are running a commercial entity of which the product that they are selling is the law. Now, the product that I am selling as a professional McKenzie Friend of some standing and of some years practice, the product that I am selling is the law, but that's very much a byproduct, because the product that I am selling is my support, is my sympathy, is my empathy, and is my strength to get through a very difficult journey. So let's talk about what we do. What we do is actually very, very unique. But because I have absolute respect for every legal professional who operates in this space, I believe there's a role for every legal professional who operates in this space, including those who are dismissive of others, including those who are somewhat disingenuous, including those who are somewhat arrogant in their stance and in this false belief that because they hold a practice license, they are in some way aligned with a higher power, because that's not the case. That is not the case at all. I have worked with McKenzie Friends over the years, good ones and bad ones. I have worked with and against solicitors over the years, good ones and bad ones. And I have worked with barristers over the years, good ones and bad ones. The reason that I run the practice that I run is because it is blended, is because I recognise the value that everybody brings to the person who is the singularly most important person in that arena, which is my client. I will provide my client with access to whatever is needed, which allows their journey to be as informed and as supported as it can be. And that is why when you work with McKenzie Picave, which is the practice that I run and have done for a number of years, you will find that you do have access to a team of McKenzie Friends, very competent, very experienced McKenzie Friends who have a valuable role to contribute. But you will also find that do you have access to a team of partnership solicitors practices that we work with, who align with us, and we work together on a case? You will also find that we have a team of barristers who work with us, and that team of barristers, working on a direct access basis, will align themselves with our client base. And by having a tight team, an identified team, they become familiar with my clients, because my clients are their clients. We also have a team of mediators in order that we can undertake mediation. We also have a team of social workers, and we also have a therapist whose role is to work with the children in our care. So I ask you to point towards another practice that gives you that broad wealth of experience and that broad wealth of access. And I have no qualms, I have no jealousy about who it is that I bring forward. I don't label anybody in my team, be they a McKenzie Friend, be they a partner solicitor, be they a partner direct access barrister, be they a social worker, be they a mediator, be they a psychiatrist, be they a psychotherapist. None of those people carry any sort of label in my team, because all of those people are there to assist our client. And so I say again, and I say this before I close this broadcast down in the middle of the night whilst I'm driving through the Midlands. If you choose to dismiss McKenzie Friends as being some ignorant, unqualified, incompetent, it is not the McKenzie Friend that you're hurting. It's not the McKenzie Friend that you're insulting, because that is a batch of insults that as McKenzie Friends we live with all the time. The person you're insulting is the client who has chosen, for whatever reason, to work with a McKenzie Friend rather than work with a solicitor, or rather than go it alone. Disrespecting clients is not really the best way to further your cause, and your commercial entity is going to be damaged if you quickly gain a reputation for being rather disrespectful of everybody else who is in the arena. I work in family court almost every day. There are solicitors who also work in family court almost every day, and I bump into them and I acknowledge them with a nod or a hello if I'm more familiar with them, and they do the same for me. But there are also a number of family law solicitors who never go anywhere near a court because they contract out their court activity to barristers and chambers of barristers. That's their right, that's their choice. So the blended practice that I run, that I will continue to run, that I will continue to develop, includes McKenzie Friends, solicitors, barristers, mediators, social workers, therapists, and each one of those people has a role to play at some point in our client's journey, and each one of those people is respected, and at no point do we ever consider any of us in that team, be we counsel or be we McKenzie Friend, at no point do we concern ourselves or question the qualification of the other.